All right, we live. So, Rick, you want to give us an update? You had to leave
Yeah,
out.
I apologize for that. I've got three kids. I've got uh, soon to be 14-year-old son. He'll be 14 in March. I got a daughter that just turned 12 last week, and then I've got a 7-year-old that'll be 8 in May. And my youngest son had a power cord for his Nintendo Switch charger, and he was slinging it around like he knows he's not supposed to. And anyway, the power cord, it's got that big piece on the end of it. Anyway, he got close to my oldest son and hit him in the eye, and he got a little cut on his eye. And my wife, she came over and got me, and thought we were gonna have to take him to the ER. But really and truly, it just looked worse than what it was. It wasn't a very long cut, and it didn't look that deep either. But hitting cuts like that on close to the eye or on the head, they bleed bad anyway. So it just looked worse than what it actually was. So that's why I had to get up and leave abruptly. But I'm back now, ready to continue our discussion about Bible college.
If you go to this is the second video. If you go to the first one, that picture that we were talking about, it's in the comments of the first video. And when this is over, I'll post it in the comments in this video. But for some reason, I can't post it right now. But it was a picture of the 19 preachers that were in there.
While you're talking, I'll see if I can post it.
So I can't. We were talking about, just to recap in case you hadn't watched the first one. The good time we had at Southeastern Baptist College, all the classes we took, the preachers that we sat under, the schedule that we had 2-day schedule, and all the Bible classes that we had, all the discipline that was involved in that, with that being at class and writing the papers, and the years of ministerial experience that would have been involved with the teachers that we had. So we had all of that, and then the friendships that you have and learning from each other, and a lot of our learning it certainly was in the class, but just the hall talk.
I was gonna say I learned
you didn't learn much,
more.
Did you?
No, not much, but what I did learn, I learned in the hallways or in the dorms.
Yeah. So, and then we was talking about wishing that
It's not let me.
we had to do it after for some reason, but the picture of the comments after we post this or we finish the live broadcast. But why aren't there more ministerial students at BMA? I'm talking specifically about BMA. That's the our church is affiliated with the Baptist Missionary Association.
That's
so
our association.
Kind of confine
Not
my comments to that.
but association.
Why aren't there more ministerial students and going to college at the institution? There's a lot of reasons for that, but so I was talking to one guy today, and we can talk about some of these reasons. But how many? It's hard to ask this question: how many preachers are being called today? So that's the Lord's business,
right?
But is the Lord not calling as many, or are they not accepting the call? What are your thoughts on that?
I wish I knew. An answer to give you on that. I mean, we know that he's definitely calling people. I mean, I will say that we took.
Or is there a drought of preachers for a reason?
That's another good point. I know when I was able to take some kids to the state BMA state youth camp last year, and we had I want to say at least 2 or 3 that I heard of that surrendered ministry at that camp, whether it was for just missions or pastoral, whatever. I'm not quite sure, but I remember hearing about some being called to and surrendered ministry at camp. So I do know that people are still being called, but like we've been discussing, there was that picture that we've got. There was almost 20 preachers in that picture, And I don't know what the number would be at not just Southeastern. I don't know what the number would be really anywhere. Has it declined? Maybe another thing? Do our BMA churches not see a need for uh, Bible education?
I think there's a lot of reasons, and I don't know we'll get to all of them.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going through the things that's come to my mind. I think there's a reason that lies within the churches.
Uh-huh.
I think there's a reason that lies within the institution at Southeastern.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not one thing. I think it's maybe a number of things.
I know this. Money could be an issue too. Tuition costs. Because I looked and it like for Southeastern, tuition is more at Southeastern Baptist College than it is at the BMA Theological Seminary.
Yeah, but don't they still give a scholarship if you're a pastor in a BMA church?
Yeah,
Wasn't there some discount?
There was a discount. In fact, I think they just opened it up to where you can go there on a full ride if you're a BMA church member or BMA preacher.
Probably a preacher.
You can get a full ride going there. I think all you have to do is pay for your textbooks.
So, and I don't want to get too far sidetracked. We're talking about Southeastern. I'm going to get to the institution in just a minute. We mentioned Brother Joey earlier. Brother Joey's got the Bible college.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm taking some classes there now. Actually, I'm taking classes I've already took just for a refresher. I'd like to know how many Bible students are there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's ministerial. I think there are people who go there, they're not ministers, but I think it's really geared toward that equipping. But let's talk about the churches for just a minute. Do you think that churches really value a pastor? Now, look, I'm going to say this, and I don't mean to make a comment. This is not a negative comment toward pastors that don't have, what's the right word? Degrees or anything like that. But do you think churches? I don't know that churches really value that. And you got some of your bigger churches that say, "Yeah, you got to have this degree." You've got churches I think actually frown on degrees, and I think the majority of them are in the middle. They just really either way it don't matter.
I think if I had to say, and I don't think, let me think of a way to say this. I don't think churches, at least in the BMA that I'm aware of, put as much emphasis as hiring a pastor that has a degree as maybe a Southern Baptist church would. Because I know you can go on the Southern Baptist Convention's website and look at, their position openings where the churches will advertise they're looking for a pastor. And when it gives the description of, the pastor, they always put, must meet the qualifications of 1 Timothy and Titus. And then they'll have on there and a majority of the ones that I've seen will say must have degree from Southern Baptist
institution,
seminary, or college.
Well, let's be honest now. When you talk about degrees, and if you just said a degree is what? It amounts to a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Now, it depends on the institution because there's a lot of stuff that goes into getting that piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say this, the time that I spent at Southeastern, what did we say, 2009, 10? And I had to graduate after you because Kay was diagnosed in 10. So you must have started the school before I come there.
I started in 2004.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's the
maybe.
Difference.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
And I got my associate's degree in 2007. So I had to went there in 2000.
But let me ask you this question.
2004.
Let me ask you this question. Do you think in your mind, the time that you spent there, the people that you met there, the teachers you were under there, the structure as it was there, I'm talking about then, not now. Do you think that's benefited your ministry?
Oh,
in the
definitely.
churches you pastor?
Absolutely.
In what ways? Give some ways.
It's giving me camaraderie among other pastors. I can say that. But as far as just the knowledge that I gained there, um, in learning really how to gain knowledge, there's a difference between education and indoctrination, and Southeastern educated me. They didn't indoctrinate me, but they taught me um, how to really study the Bible, and so that when you learn how to study the Bible, that's beneficial to yourself and the churches that you serve.
If you think about this,
and they helped to give me a good uh, doctrinal grounding as well. But it was a way, but they did it in a way in which they presented, pretty much Baptist doctrine, but then they showed you how to interpret the Bible and how to study the Bible, and in doing that, I looked and I was like, well, I some of the stuff I agree with, some of the stuff I don't, and so that's how I kind of looked at it, and because they taught me how to study the Bible. When I went there, I had no idea. I'd probably preached once or twice. I had no idea how to prepare a sermon. I had no idea how to preach a sermon. um, had no idea how to study and interpret the Bible, and Southeastern laid all that framework for me, and I was able to serve in churches and learn and study and preach and further my education in other ways, and so I valued all the time that I had at Southeastern.
So you think it's a problem? So part of the problem may be that churches don't value it. Let me give you an example.
I don't want to say churches don't value it, but they don't, maybe not emphasize it, if that makes sense to you.
So think about this.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the secular world, let's say you're a school teacher.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you start out with a bachelor's degree. You got to have that to teach, right?
Excuse me 1 second.
And then
You keep talking.
and then let me run this thought down. You start out with a bachelor's degree, and then if you get a master's degree, and then you get a doctorate. With each degree you get, there's some incentive to getting that degree. So, and that incentive, and I know this loosely translates into pastoral ministry, but what's the incentive for a person in the secular world to get more educated? Oh, it's always money.
Mm-hmm.
When I say churches don't value it, I don't know the churches that if they got a pastor that's went through a degree and they went to get a master's and maybe they've got a doctorate, they might pat them on the back.
Uh-huh.
But they don't incentivize it by rewarding it.
Right.
And some people may disagree with that and say that shouldn't apply equally. I understand that. We're talking about churches and not secular world, but I don't guess it's not that they don't value it, but I don't know that people really see an incentive to go. I mean, because so many people are money oriented. I'm going to hang this on the wall, and it's going to collect dust. So the value can't be in the money, but it's got to be in how equipped you are to pastor a church. If you go up there and you take all them classes we listed earlier, and I'm not going to list them again, but all them classes.
We list a lot.
Yeah, all them classes. And then you think about, okay, these preachers that you end up having tremendous respect for and that you sit under. And so you've got their availability. You're trying to pastor. Now, some of us were pastoring churches when we're going through there. All right, this situation comes up. I've never dealt with this, but probably this teacher had, or this teacher had, or this teacher had. You got all that value. I don't know how a person don't think that some type of education is some type of institution. If it's done right and it sounds biblical, it's not going to be of value, not just to the person, but to the people he pastors. So why aren't there more people, preachers, that's going and getting an education like that? I don't know. I honestly don't know that. Honestly, maybe I'm wrong in this. I'm not sure that part of the reason is not. There's other reasons we'll maybe get to.
And it could also just be that preachers don't see the need in it.
Well, that churches don't see the need. Preachers don't see the need. Maybe preachers, the way the schedule is now, most of your preachers are bivocational.
Yeah.
So unless you're doing it all online, but even if you're doing that, Brother Rick, when you're bivocational, you're working, you're pastoring, the last thing you want to do is come home and do an online class.
Uh-huh.
Me, I'd far rather sit in the classroom than I do an online class.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you right now. Mm-hmm. I don't think they didn't have online when we were up there.
And look, those when I started at Southeastern, that was the main appeal to me whenever I started there, because
the 2-day schedule, or
just the 2-day schedule. You go Mondays and Tuesdays, and that was free to work.
Yeah, I don't think I could have went if it weren't for the 2-day schedule.
Yeah, and so that was what I liked about it. And now I think Southeastern they go. I think they have classes on Mondays and Tuesdays, and Thursdays and Fridays now. And so that could be another reason this dropped off, because let's face it, a lot of our BMA churches, majority of the pastors are, I think, bivocational.
The 2-day schedule would make it easier. I wouldn't say it make it possible in every situation, but it'd make it easier.
Yeah, but then again, you got to think too. That was a relatively new thing, the 2-day schedule when we went, because back when Southeastern first started, it was a normal, 4 or 5 day a week deal, and they had basketball and sports there as well. So
it may be a problem that churches don't value it. It may be a problem that preachers don't value it. Mm-hmm. But I want to circle back to this other point that we mentioned. Now, I know some younger preachers that's been called. Matter of fact, like I mentioned, in our association, there's 2. Mm-hmm. One of them has taken some classes, and I feel like he's being educated at his church. Mm-hmm. I won't call his name, doesn't have permission. Another young preacher just surrendered. But I don't know of many other outside of that. Uh-huh. Maybe they are. I'm just not aware of it, but I don't know. It just seems like there's a dearth of people either being called or accepting that call. I don't know which one it is.
Right.
Well, I mean, do you think the Lord's not calling as many people, or they're just not listening to the call, or right?
That's one of those things I can't answer on that one.
Well, there's a verse in the Old Testament that says, I will give you pastors according to my heart. Mm-hmm. Or is that Jeremiah? You know where that's at?
I think Jeremiah.
Okay. But let me just throw this out there. If churches are not supporting the way they should, they're not honoring the way they should, I'm not suggesting they are. This is a if question. Mm-hmm. Then do you think that the Lord will withhold that blessing? Do you think that's a biblical concept? I'm asking. I don't know the answer to that.
I can see that. I mean, if that gift is, the Bible talks about pastors being gifts to the churches.
Hey, look, Brother Ronnie's watching.
Hey, Brother Ronnie.
Brother Ronnie's on there. We was talking about you in the first video, Brother Ronnie.
Yeah.
We used to go in his office and give him a hard time.
Yeah, I remember somebody would go in there and present, some point of view about something, and he'd get fired. I'm like, yeah, you're right about that. I agree wholeheartedly with what you're saying. To send somebody else in there with a different perspective. He's like, yeah, you're right. I agree with that.
Oh, brother, I remember him. Look at there. I see Brother Joey. Jared Lee, Brother John Burge, different ones that's watching. Yeah. We had a good time when we were there.
Man, we had a blast.
And I just hate to. I hate now.
I think the standard of students dropped when we left.
I'll tell you a little story. One time definitely the standard of students. We were the cream of the crop.
We were the cream of the crop.
I mean,
nobody like us.
Let me rephrase that. Out of those 20 there, that was a crop.
That was a crop.
Out of that crop, we were the cream of the crop.
Just me and you.
But I remember one time I had a pair of blue jeans on. I'm going to tell this story. I think I saw Brother Joey was watching.
Oh, yeah. I know the story you're going to tell.
And
it was you and 2 other guys.
It may have been. But apparently, and I probably knew it at the time. Okay. They didn't match. Brother Joey come down on me about them blue jeans out. I think they were faded out tight maybe or something. I can't remember what the issue was. But that was a standard. I mean, it was.
There wasn't no holes in them. They were just kind of faded. That was a style you bought them like that.
Yeah. But nonetheless, I got chastised for it. But yeah, it was we had a good time, and I don't know all the answers. Maybe it's lies some within the churches. Maybe it lies some within the preachers not willing to spend that time and invest that time into doing that. I don't know.
Because like you said, churches, pastors, like majority BMA pastors are bivocational. They've got they've got a church they're pastoring. They've got a full-time job. They've got families.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
And
Some of us had that.
Yeah.
When we were going there, I was married.
But here's what I'm getting at though. We were able to have those 2 days.
Oh yeah. It was
Just
different setting.
So maybe that's another thing that is withholding pastors from going through.
Okay, and I mentioned this at the closing of the video.
Schedule.
If you've got within the BMA churches in Mississippi, that school says it's owned by the churches of BMA Mississippi, but it's a BMA institution. Right? But within the churches, one preacher brought this point up. In the BMA pastor and BMA churches, you've got independent Baptist pastor. Well, I know independent Baptist, right? They're not associational.
No.
They're not going to encourage anybody to go up there. You've got, like we mentioned, maybe Faithway. I come out of Faithway. But so you got, within BMA churches, you got pastors that really come from different.
And the BMA came out of Faithway too.
Well, it was all together, and then they just kind of.
You had Faithway, then the ABA, and then BMA broke off the ABA. So
maybe it's some of that. But let me get to this other point. I think some of it's to do with the institution. And that the college itself is, I don't think, from reports I've got, I don't think there's an emphasis on the ministerial aspect at the college. Matter of fact, if you read the mission statement that they got now, so that's changed.
Okay, I hadn't.
And not recently, but since we were there, that emphasis has changed, and I don't think it's on the ministerial aspect anymore. I think it's more on providing a Christian atmosphere for the other degrees they've opened up to, and whatever the case. But I just don't think the emphasis is there. I don't think that's
on pastoral preaching,
on preachers, on providing preachers with. I just don't think that emphasis is there. Now anybody can watch this and correct me and show me where I'm wrong if they want to, but I just don't think that emphasis is there like it was then.
Right. It could.
And if you don't want them, they serve. What did Ronnie do? I don't know whether Ronnie's still on here.
He was a recruiter.
He was a recruiter, right? And he tried to recruit preachers.
Oh yeah.
And do they do that now?
I know they. I know they recruit, but I don't know if there's a certain emphasis of.
I think it's most of sports now. I think that's where most of the recruiting is. I won't get Rick in trouble.
No, I know that seems to be the big emphasis. If I had to give my opinion, it seems like sports is more of the emphasis, and then after that is the Christian Bible teaching. I think their main focus now, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing. Like when we were there was a different administration, different vision, different direction. Now there's a new administration, new vision, new direction, and I think their direction more now is evangelism.
Okay, using the school as a tool of evangelism.
I think so, and so I think that could be why the dynamics have changed.
Well,
that could be that would be my opinion. Emphasis. That's why there's not as many maybe pastors or preachers going.
How many licensed preachers do you know of?
No, that's going there.
No, just period.
Just period.
Yeah, just young preachers that's not ordained yet. That's just starting out. That's been called and surrendered to preach.
I don't know, because I don't know if they're. I don't know where they stand as far as their license.
Well, I don't even care about that. How many that you know that's maybe been called, but recently, within a year or two?
None.
None. None. And that's not unusual.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying, okay, maybe some of that, maybe some of the churches don't value it. So if the churches don't value it, I mean, hey, I can just get licensed, get ordained. There's no value in that. If they don't see a value, then what's the impetus for a preacher to pursue it? And if the vision or the purpose of the institution has changed, you put all those things together, you got a perfect storm.
Yeah.
Of what else can you expect but a decrease of ministerial students going to a BMA college?
Right.
Right. And then so, you know, how do you change it? I don't even know to begin to answer that question, but there are other avenues people have to get educated. I'm not saying that's okay. It's either this or nothing else. I mean, the ideal thing is pastors teaching the younger preachers in their church.
Uh-huh.
You know, that's the if you want to say what's the biblical model, that's got to be it.
That's it. Yeah,
it's got to be it. All right, but in the absence of that, or maybe in conjunction with that, some institution they can go to that focuses on, you know, and I think that's why Brother Joey has done so well with what he's doing there, because he's got a number of ministerial people that come there. I know because that's the focus, right? Okay, it's not just equipping the saints in general. Let's try to equip people for the ministry. So if you took just think about this. If you take did you get yours in 4 years or take you a little longer to get your bachelor's?
My bachelor's
took me 5.
It took me 5 because I took a semester off.
How many years of pastoral experience would you think? It really wasn't pastoral experience as much as it was gaining information from those who had pastoral experience. But how much do you think you gained if you'd have had to have got that experience through pastoring? How many years do you think it took you to get what you got out of those?
Man.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you know you're in an atmosphere of a bunch of other preachers, especially the ones that taught us, and you're hearing all this, learning all this, being equipped by all this. So there's value. To me, there was value in it.
Oh yeah. And
you know, I think it's got to get back to just, you know, if it's going to succeed, there's got to be a ministerial focus. Needs to be. And I asked the question earlier, you know, how many, and I'm going to find out how many, even if it's not ministerial, let's just take that off the table and just say, okay, the focus is not now ministerial, it's on whatever it's on now. How many people out of how many kids, young people, young men and women that hold membership in BMA churches even go? That's what I want to know.
No. Because
you think the BMA college is supposed to serve the BMA churches, but if it's not getting any kids coming through that, then the only thing you could say is, if it's not ministerial in purpose, primarily, if it's not to serve the families of the BMA churches for their kids to come get an education, whether it be a business degree or a church ministry degree or whatever it is, if it's not that, and you can know that by the numbers, you could find out what the numbers are and know if it's not that. If it's not those things, then the only other thing you could say they're trying to serve is evangelism. That's the only other purpose you could say it's trying to serve. And then you have to ask, all right, well, what efforts of evangelism are being made? Well, you got chapel service. All right, you got that. But then, so I don't know, there's a lot of things I think going on that has happened over the years in churches and preachers and in the institution that maybe has created this, I don't know, vacuum or void that's there that, I don't know, we had a good time.
We had a great time. We had, Facebook was new when we were there. So
did we have Facebook when we were there?
It was starting to come into play like towards the end. But yeah, we had wrestling matches.
Do you remember the skit that they put on in chapel?
Those were fun.
Wasn't it Caleb that taped his ears out like this and got on his knees to look like
Don Hillman?
Brother Don Hillman?
Yeah. It was funny.
Yeah, oh, Charlie went. Didn't Charlie McNeil go?
Yeah,
Take some classes there.
Uh-huh.
Y'all to comment some memory y'all have or something
yeah,
on there. Whether Ronnie's on here, whether Charlie's on
here.
here.
You got some memories of Southeastern sharing with us.
Yeah, I'd love to hear what some of them have to say. But we had learned a lot, enjoyed it, had a good time there.
I remember we had when I first started, we would have wrestling matches there in the dorm, and we
Brother Joey's listening to this.
He can't do nothing. I already got my degree. Well, I'm surprised I didn't get expelled because me and Caleb, I think it was Caleb, went and got airsoft rifles. And we would have airsoft wars in the dorm. And I remember we did drive-bys on a couple of people at the school. And anyway.
Who did you shoot?
I remember we saw one. I won't give his last name. His first name was Mark. He's in the military. But he's in the military now. But we pulled up and we said, "Hey, Mark," and he started walking towards us. And when he did, we pulled out our airsoft guns and just started unloading on him. And then Brother Joey came to the dorms and took our guns.
You remember going to Mikasita? That's when it was not where it's at now.
No, it was
closer to the college.
Closer to college. Yeah, we were there every Monday night.
Pretty much, we ate there at least one time.
No. We would eat there for lunch. Then we go to Applebee's.
No,
on Monday
you
night.
forgot about Eats a Pizza.
Eats a Pizza, yeah. We would go
Pizza
there. That was
the best
good
fried chicken. That was a pizza place.
Yeah.
So there was Eats a Pizza that was a regular. Mikasita was a regular.
And Applebee's.
Yeah, but we also went down to what was the little steakhouse down there, the little chain kind of Western Sizzler.
Yeah,
that was there. We had all of those places we would go and eat.
Do you remember? There was a New Orleans style restaurant downtown.
Yeah,
and I think it was Matt. We went in there and Matt wanted to order a grilled cheese off the kids menu, and because he wasn't very hungry, and the woman wouldn't do it, and he got so mad. She's like, "No, that's on the kids menu. You can't have it." And he got mad. He's like, "Fine." He's like, "I'm just not gonna eat anything." And then she said, "You know, I'll bring you grilled cheese."
Let me tell you a funny story.
All right.
So you remember Caleb?
Yeah.
Ulmer.
Well,
okay. Let me just tell the story. Okay, you may have heard it. I had to use the restroom. Okay, so I tear out and go to what was then the library. The library is not the library anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Remember where you used to go to buy your textbooks? Well, they have slashed the library and put it in. Anyway, the library had the best bathrooms.
Oh yeah.
So I'm in the bind. I run in there and go to the bathroom, still out doing my business. Somebody comes in the stall next to me and sits down. I look down and I see these two female shoes.
I think I remember this.
But I recognize the shoes because she always had these shoes and I knew who it was. I said, "Oh my Lord, I'm in the girls' bathroom." So I tore out of there. I said, "She's got to know who it is." So later on, I walked up to her. I said, "Somebody tear out the bathroom when you come in?" She said, "Yes," and that was me. I said I was in the wrong one. So you got all those kind of memories,
all those stories. Yeah, man, we had a blast there. Let's see, what's some other things that.
Remember the door hit you in the face and busted your nose when we were making the videos?
Yeah, we were making a video. And I've tried to find that video that we've been trying to recreate. I cannot find that video anywhere.
With the door coming through the door?
No. There's a video. If it's the one I'm thinking of, because there was a video that we saw where there was like kind of this like kind of skinny guy sitting down, and this big guy like stands up and like takes his shirt off and like slaps the guy and knocks him out. And wasn't that the video we were trying to? Because we started off doing videos where we put our hands up and then somebody slapped the hand, And then you and I tried to take it a step further
with the door.
With the door.
So Rick was going to stand behind the door. Probably Tim was videoing.
Yeah, Tim. Yeah,
and I was going to.
And I had my foot at a certain point where when we rehearsed it, it was going to stop the door, but it was going to stop it short of my face, and I was going to act like it hit my nose.
So I come sling the door open.
I put my foot in the wrong spot.
The door hit him.
It hit me in my nose, and I fall backwards, and I'm just like bleeding everywhere.
Oh.
And we made it. We made it through Southeastern.
It needs to be that way again.
Yeah. It was fun times.
Yeah, we had a good time.
I remember you almost knocked the air conditioning unit out of your window.
How'd I do that? I forgot.
We were watching a scary movie.
We'd have got in trouble for that.
We're going back. Yeah. We were watching a scary movie and like something jumped out. And the funny thing is you knew it was coming. You'd seen the movie. And it was like something about like the tooth
fairy.
It was something
that was
about the tooth fairy.
Oh my gosh. I can't
remember. And like there was a jump scare and you had your foot propped up on the air conditioner. And when that thing jumped out, you kicked the air conditioner and it about almost went out the window.
And then didn't y'all do something with the mattresses in the hallway? Take the mattresses and run at each other and bounce off.
I didn't. I don't remember that.
Now you're denying it. You know.
No, really, true. I don't remember that.
I don't remember that.
No, I remember the rest of the matches.
So that's the one that always the geriatrics down the hallway would tell us to be quiet.
Yeah.
When we were up there on Monday nights, this was always on Monday nights. This kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. Tuesday nights we were ready to go home after that, but we had to find something to do.
Well, Sunday nights, some of us come up and stayed on Sunday nights.
Yeah, I would usually come up on Sunday nights. And me and Chase would get there, and then about midnight, what we call the Bogalusa boys, Caleb, Matt, and Shad, they'd come in about midnight and bust into mine and Chase's room, waking us up, and we'd be up for another hour talking.
Well,
but
we enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a good time.
But were they, what? I don't know. I asked a bunch of questions, don't know the answer.
And of course, and we had good times with the junking around. Then we had good times just getting going in each other's dorms and talking about different Bible doctrines.
We did a lot of that.
A lot of that.
I tried to make feet wash out of all of y'all.
You did. I think there were some you. I think I'm surprised you didn't beat with I think you grabbed a broomstick and threatened them. They didn't convert to foot washing.
Well, I was right on everything back then until I wasn't anymore. Until I learned some things.
Right.
That's just the way it goes. Yep. Well, anyhow, we was talking about the need for
a biblical education,
and why it's important. And I know it ain't available to everybody, and it ain't important to everybody, and whatever. There was value in it to me.
I highly value all the time we spent there, and we made friends of bonds that'll last, and people that we know, and will always be there for us when we need them.
How big an issue do you think there's several issues, but let me just focus on this one for a minute. You think the King James Version issue is hurt the college with the churches in Mississippi?
I don't know, because I'm not aware of any. They don't use King James at Southeastern.
I don't know what the policy is now. I don't think it's what it was. And I had one of the guys that I'm not going to call his name. I don't want to slander anybody, but come down trying to get support for the college when I wasn't long started. I forget what point it was in, and pastor he come to one of the association meetings, and I point blank asked him. And at that time, he just made the comment. He said, I can take you and show you the errors in it. And so that I know that was the mindset.
No.
I don't know, even if your policy is, we're just going to use this, that don't really mean you endorse it.
Right.
It's just a bunch of stuff, but I don't know. You take a ship,
and I could if that's the case, I could see that being an issue too among well, folks like me and you and some others, but I know. Yeah, so I don't know because I don't know. I hadn't taken any classes there or heard except what you just told me. So
you got to get in the loop, son.
I hear what I hear, and that's the loop enough for me.
I got you. Well, anyhow, we've got already one segment on this. This is the second. We asked a bunch of questions, didn't provide a whole lot of answers, but I'd encourage people to find some way to get under preachers that they can gain experience and knowledge and stuff like that from. And I don't want to get on here and publicly just lambast and whatever else the case may be. I know there's issues and people's got thoughts and comments, and we'll see what it does go forward. But like I said, I'm taking classes right now, just refreshing at Mississippi Bible Baptist Institute. And matter of fact, our association has a scholarship. Any preachers or Sunday school teachers that will go there, we pay the cost on.
Oh, okay.
And so we're trying to get people to take and avail themselves of some kind of formal education in those areas. But anyhow, we need to have a reunion.
Southeastern reunion. I've thought
of all the preachers that was up there.
Oh yeah. Not, I don't want to say go by like the year you graduated, but just
that general
alumni
time.
Or I would love that. That'd be fun, especially if like the ones that were there when we were there.
Do you remember? Well, I'm telling on us. Charlie said, "Oh, the Southeastern stores. He probably got some too."
Oh yeah.
I don't know why it ain't showing up. Oh, there it is, right there.
There it is.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Brother Charlie. There's a bunch of them. You remember the bridge at Chunky?
All right, now we don't need to talk about that.
Did you go on that trip?
I went on that trip.
You trying to cover some stuff up now?
Yeah.
You was telling all a while ago.
We don't need to talk about that one.
Who led that expedition?
Who
led that expedition?
I think it was Caleb.
I think it probably was.
I think
you're gonna get a phone call.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a phone. What's the name of that bridge?
Stuckey's Bridge.
Stuckey's Bridge, and wasn't it in Chunky, near Chunky?
Yeah.
Near Meridian, somewhere up that way. Yeah.
Yep. Legend has it that old Stuckey would he had a kind of like a motel or
Brother Adam Parker, didn't he go to college there? That's where he met his wife, wasn't it?
I don't know if he met her there, but yeah, I know they both went there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we the legend has about Stuckey Bridge. Stuckey had a little bed and breakfast or something that travelers would come by. They'd come stay there. He'd kill them, take their goods, and throw them over into the bridge, and then when town folks found out about it,
hey, my wife's watching.
Oh, okay.
No, go ahead.
And so then when the town folks found out about it, they went and got Stuckey and hung him by the neck over the bridge, and then they cut him off and he fell over in the bridge, and they said you could still hear his body splash in the water, and some folks have even claimed to see his ghost walk around the bridge. And so we got the wild idea, well, let's go check this place out.
I had no part in that.
Pretty
sure I wasn't there, was I? I had no part. It was about 20 people.
It was like a field trip.
Yeah. We had some fun.
Yeah.
Well, Josh Daniels said, I remember that night. I wonder if Brother Josh, was you there?
I don't remember.
I don't remember Josh.
I remember Josh being there, but
I can't remember all that was there though.
I can't remember either. But it was good times.
I just remember. I don't know if Tim was. Surely Tim
went.
Tim went.
Yeah,
Caleb went. Matt went. Shad went. All of them would have went. You went. I went. Granted, Brother Josh Daniels went.
The girls from Bensford
And
went.
whatever their names were. There was a bunch went.
Yeah.
And then somebody yelled and everybody run off the bridge like they were going to go there or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember all of that. But yeah, there was a lot of shenanigans. But
it was good times.
Oh Lord. You remember there was a preaching thing that we were in where you'd meet and somebody different would preach every
Ministerial Alliance.
Okay. Was you in that? I guess we all had to be.
For the first 2 years you had, if you were ministerial students, you had to go.
Do you remember when Brother Joey would go into chapel and he would give us all a scripture?
Oh, we had 2 or 3 minute sermons.
2 or 3 minute sermon, and you had,
Yeah, I remember that. In fact, back then I was so nervous about it that if I found out that if I couldn't find out a specific preacher for chapel service, there were a lot of times where I was like, I'm not going to go to chapel this morning because they're probably going to do 3 minute sermons. I don't.
There was one time, I think it might have been Adam. We was actually going to go another night, but the plan was to go with, so Brother Adam was in on that too.
Okay.
But I think it might have been Matt. Matt got some strange verse. One of them,
No.
You just must open up your Bible up and put your finger on it.
Yeah.
And he read his verse, and for the rest of his 2 minutes, he was preaching John 3:16.
No, that was me.
Was that you?
That was me.
His message had nothing to do with the verse he gave. He just said he read his verse and just flipped right over to John 3:16 and started preaching.
Because when I got done preaching, Brother Joey said, "That was good, but what about this verse that you were giving?" I said it was in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And there was another time where they gave me a verse, and I looked, and I started jotting down some points for it, and I got up there and started preaching. After it was over with, Chase come to me, and he's like, when I saw you get up there, he said, when you started walking to the pulpit, he said, I just started laughing. I said, he started laughing. He said, yeah. And he had a friend sitting next to him. He's like, dude, what are you laughing about? And he said, and Chase said, I just told him, I said, cuz. I said, he's fixing to destroy y'all.
And then, what was it? Oh shoot! I lost my train of thought. We had so much stuff.
Josh Daniels said I couldn't preach one of those mornings. I didn't have my tie on.
Yeah, that's right. He put that back up. Let me see that. What he said. I couldn't preach one of those mornings I didn't have. You still don't have no tie on. What are you talking about? You got a shirt with the sleeves rolled up and a Christmas sweater on. That's what you wear. Yeah, he sure do. So,
what was that? I remember that.
So that goes. It was different.
Yeah.
He was right. You had to have a tie on, didn't you? When you got up in the chapel.
If you were going to preach, you were required to have a tie and King James Bible.
A tie with KJV only and the
Right.
King James Bible.
That's right.
We went all the way with it, son. I don't think Brother Josh was ever keen on wearing a tie.
No.
He's only 3/4 qualified.
Yeah.
You got to get a tie to be all the way. Yeah. I remember that.
Well, I think it's time we call this to a close. Our first part went a little over 30 minutes, and now here we are coming up on 50 minutes. So we should bring it to a close. And I got some things I got to get done. We got to go eat supper over at the house. So
he don't want me to tell that last story about him is what it is. So I'll save it for next time.
There you go. We got to just tune in next time for a story. Whether it's one or not, you won't know unless you tune in.
Yep. Be sure y'all go like our Facebook page and our YouTube page, and we got some other videos on there. Matter of fact, there's so much content on our YouTube page. You would probably get a Bible degree if you would have watched all those videos.
You would.
Matter of fact, I'll give you a degree. We will print you out
We'll print you out.
associates. We'll call it something different.
We'll call
make up a name for
we'll
it.
call it the Jude 3 Bible degree.
Yeah, we'll get some gold embossed diplomas, and
Send
we'll
it
bring
out.
you on here live and present it to you.
There you go. Hey,
Brother Josh, that's open for you. We will. Matter of fact, let me say this to Brother Josh while he's on here listening. He just made another comment. I'd like to get Brother Josh on here and just talk to him about his ministry and what he's got going on.
That'd be great.
How about that, Brother Josh? If you listen, we will come on here one time so we can harass you. And he's probably gonna say no. He gets cornered between us. You got to wear a tie. I don't have one on tonight, but don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But if you come,
that'd be great. Look, I tell you what, man. When Josh comes and talks about the mission work down in Kiln, I mean they're blowing and going. They've always got something going on, and they're doing a great work down there. And I think the rest of our listeners would love to hear what Josh is doing.
Yeah, we'll get him on. He ain't commented yet, but we'll work it out.
Yeah. So, all right, folks, well, that's going to do it for us at the Jude 3 podcast. Like Jason said, like and subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube page, and you can look forward to hopefully some more
Every
content.
Tuesday. We're going to try to on Tuesdays.
We're going to try and get back to it every Tuesday. So until next time, y'all have a blessed evening.